Good evening. Oh, wow, you are so good. Right down to quiet. Welcome to Westminster. Welcome to The Secret Letter. My name is Shelley Kiala. I'm the executive director of Cantus. I've been with the organization for less than a year, and every day still feels like a gift. I'll be saying that for the rest of time, I promise. This is a fantastic show. You made the right choice in coming here tonight. You sure did. But before I tell you about what you're going to see this evening and experience, I want to let you know that Cantus doesn't just sing The Secret Letter. We have other shows too, you might know. So coming up next is the most fun fundraiser in town. In fact, I've been told we put the fun in fundraiser. That's going to happen on May 5th at the Metropolitan Ballroom. It's Viva Las Vegas. If you don't have tickets, there are really only 26 left. So we might sell out. If you don't get them in the next week or two, you might not get a spot, just saying. After that, you can get funky with Cantus. We're doing the cover show, and it is pure funk. So what does that mean? Beyonce, Bruno Mars, and if those feel a little too contemporary, we also have Earth, Wind, and Fire and Stevie Wonder. So lots of music for everyone. Please join us at the Luminary for covers. And then this summer, we're going to be doing an homage to Frank Sinatra with the show In the Wee Small Hours. It's our chamber series set of shows, so small, intimate, really fun, don't miss it. You may know, because you're our good friends, that more than 50% of Cantus's annual budget is thanks to contributed revenue. Many of you are donors. We are so very grateful. And I have some special call-outs tonight for support of tonight's show, tonight's concert. There is a new commission from our friend Saunder Choi, who you will hear from later. You sure? Yeah, you can clap for him. He's here, he'll hear you. And that's thanks to our friend Tom Arneson for making that possible. It has been a rich, full week with Saunder in the Twin Cities with us, and you'll get to hear from him tonight after the concert in a talk back. The guys will tell you more about that. We also want to thank our friends Kathy and Gerald B Fischer, who supported the live stream of the concert. So if you can't get enough after, and if you're anything like me, you won't. I've seen it 3 times already. You're gonna wanna get a ticket to the live stream. 10 days of live streaming. You only need 1 ticket. You can watch it 5 times a day, every day. That's a great deal. Thank you, Kathy and Jerry. I also wanna thank the Minnesota State Arts Board, which indeed is the envy of our country for the support that they give. We are so very grateful to the Minnesota State Arts Board. So tonight, you're gonna see and experience The Secret Letter, and you have a program in front of you, but because they're artists up till the last minute, these singers decided to switch 2 songs around. So instead of starting with Blackbird, they're gonna cast a spell on you and start with Yinks, and then Blackbird will come later in the program. So get ready for the first spell, and please welcome to Westminster Hall, Cantus.
For the brand, oh Artemis, 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 when drowned in the flames. Hark, there still is quick, beat the pan. Smear them privily, and spit for what thou doest, and for what thou doest, and thrice this libation I pour, thrice this prayer. O Artemis, 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 thrice I say to thee, Amen, Amen, Dulce ex anax et veluo de mare, Amen, Amen, Dulce ex anax et veluo de mare, Amen, Amen, Dulce ex anax et veluo de mare, Hinks.
So sorry for spitting. It's in the sheet music, I promise. Yinks is actually a setting of two ancient spells designed to reconnect oneself with a lover separated by distance and circumstance. Within these texts, within these ancient texts, you can feel the author's desperation and tragic yearning for love. Thankfully, however, the advent of letter writing has a much higher success rate than magic. Love letters have been the ultimate solution for disparate lovers to overcome any obstacle throughout history. These humble scraps of paper have held everything from whispered confessions to epic rhapsodic ravings, preserving and stoking the fires of love in times when even speaking it aloud meant risking your life and your freedom. The Secret Letter examines these messages through the lens of queer voices, individuals whose love stories often remained concealed in the margins. These writings dictate a fervently passionate script, preserving the initial spark of excitement, the ache of separation, and the triumphant realization that love ultimately refuses to be confined. Although the letters read tonight in this concert represent a microscopic fraction of the countless messages exchanged between queer people throughout history, they are an apt opportunity to contemplate all of the beautiful ways that love persists. Our next song, Canto Elegua, is a prayer to Elegua, the Yoruban goddess of travel and crossroads. And through that, we are reminded that regardless of the numerous crossroads, borders, or even centuries that may stand in its way, love will always find a way to be delivered.
Bara
Love is a smoke made with a fume of sighs. Being urged afar, sparkling in lovers' eyes. Being vexed or sea, nourished with loving tears. What is it else? Madness most discreet, a choking calm, and a preserving sweet.
A letter from Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius to his mentor Marcus Fronto, written around 139 AD. Hail, my best of masters. I have received 2 letters from you at once. In one of these, you scolded me and pointed out that I had written a sentence carelessly. In the other, however, you strove to encourage my efforts with praise. Yet I protest to you that it was the former letter which gave me the greater pleasure, and that as I read it, I cried out again and again, "Oh, happy that I am!" Are you then so happy for having a teacher to show you how to write more clearly, more elegantly? No, that is not my reason for calling myself happy. It is that I learned from you to speak the truth. Speaking the truth is precisely what is so hard for gods and men. I rejoice, best of orators, that you have become my friend. Should I not burn with love of you who have written to me as you have? What shall I do? I cannot cease. Go on, threaten me and attack me with hosts of arguments, yet shall you never drive your lover, me, away. Nor shall I the less assert that I love Fronto, or love less, because you prove with reasons so various that those who are less in love must be more indulged. So passionately, by Hercules, am I in love with you. Nor am I frightened off by the law you lay down, and even if you show yourself more forward to others who are non-lovers, yet will I love you while I have life and health. I can without rashness affirm a passionate longing for you all these days. Days, do I say? Months, I mean.
Que tal vez mañana yo ya
In 1896, after being convicted of gross indecency and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment, Oscar Wilde wrote De Profundis, a long and anguished letter to Lord Alfred Douglas, reflecting on their disastrous relationship. In this excerpt, written from his prison cell, Wilde confronts his lover's cruelty and his own complicity in his downfall. Dear Bosie, our friendship has ended in ruin and public infamy for me, yet the memory of our ancient affection is often with me. Most of all, I blame myself for the entire ethical degradation I allowed you to bring on me. It was the case of that tyranny of the weak over the strong, which in one of my plays I describe as being the only tyranny that lasts. You send me a very nice poem for my approval. I reply by a letter of fantastic literary conceits. It was the sort of letter I would have written to any graceful young man who had sent me a poem of his own making. That letter passes from you to a gang of blackmailers, and ultimately, it forms part of a criminal charge. I go to prison for it at last. That is the result of writing you a charming letter. There is one answer to all that I have said to you, and that is that you loved me. But in you, hate was always stronger than love. You did not realize that there is no room for both passions in the same soul. Love is fed by the imagination, by which we become wiser than we know, nobler than we are. But anything will feed hate. Not a glass of champagne you drink, not a rich dish you ate that did not feed your hate and make it fat. We've known each other now for more than 4 years. Half of the time we've been together, the other half I have had to spend in prison as a result of our friendship. You came to me to learn the pleasure of life and the pleasure of art. Perhaps I'm chosen to teach you something much more wonderful, the meaning of sorrow and its beauty. Your affectionate friend, Oscar Wilde.
Literary giant Walt Whitman frequently described his feelings of love for other men as consuming. While working as a nurse in American Civil War hospitals, his great gift of presence, camaraderie, and friendship to the young men in their final moments bestowed comfort to the sick and dying. Whitman's most evocative words and desires were saved for his poetry, as here we see in his letter to longtime lover Peter Doyle his stern and direct tone. Peter, enduring ongoing medical complications, is in a depressive state. Brooklyn, New York, Saturday evening, August 21st, 1869. Dear Pete, you must forgive me for being so cold the last day and evening. I was unspeakably shocked and repelled from you by that talk and proposition of yours, you know what, there by the fountain. It seemed indeed to me that the one I loved, and who had always been so manly and sensible, was gone, and a fool, and intentional suicide stood in his place. But I'll say no more of this, for I know such thoughts must have come when you was not yourself, and have passed away like a bad dream. Dearest, I have not a doubt, but you will get well and entirely well, and we will one day look back on these drawbacks and sufferings as things long past. My darling, if you're not well when I come back, I'll get a good room or two in some quiet place, and we'll live together and devote ourselves all together to the job of curing you, making you stronger and healthier than ever. Dear comrade, I think of you very often. My love for you is indestructible, and since that night and morning has returned, more than before. Dear Pete, don't let the devil put such thoughts in your mind again. Wickedness unspeakable, death and disgrace here, and hell's agonies hereafter. Then what would it be afterward to the mother? What to me? Dear Pete, remember, Walt.
Flames up and consumes. Not sea waves hurry in and out, not the ashes, the air of the ripe summer is lightly along, white downpours of myriads of sea.
Our next piece, Light Years to Lebanon by Saunder Choi, was commissioned specifically for The Secret Letter through the generosity of Tom Arneson. Saunder was inspired by the show concept and sourced his own text, which he set to music. From Saunder's program note: the tradition of queer love letters always intersects with the idea of distance. Just as queer people meet themselves twice in the process of coming out, they also encounter longing twice. First, for the impossible lover, the unrequited love, the straight crush, and then for the lover who becomes unreachable due to time, distance, or circumstance. It is a love that is both familiar and estranged. Light Years to Lebanon explores this kind of love. It stems from a fragment of a love story shared with writer Brian Sonia Wallace during West Hollywood Pride as part of his Pride Poets installation, where LGBTQ+ poets are invited to write for Pride attendees based on their personal stories. A young woman from Lebanon, now living in the United States, asked Brian to write for her partner, who remains in Lebanon. Her longing was palpable, an ache not just for a distant lover, but also for a beloved homeland and a life that had to be kept secret. Yet more than anything, her story beamed with hope, a hope that when love burns bright enough, it can bend space and time and travel light years. With her permission, the resulting poem has been set to music.
You love the smell of shared sky, burning with sound and hunger, we trek through the dark and follow the stars.
Emily Dickinson's letter to Susan Gilbert is filled with longing, an aching desire to bridge the distance between them, both physical and emotional. Though Susan would go on to marry Emily's brother, the depth of feeling in this letter suggests a love that was, at the very least, complicated and perhaps unfulfilled. And yet, they remained close, neighbors for decades, leaving us to wonder whether that love ever truly faded or simply found quieter ways to endure. Summer, 1852. I have but one thought this afternoon of June, and that is of you. And I have one prayer only, dear Susie, that is for you. that you and I, in hand as we e'en do in heart, might ramble away as children among the woods and fields and forget these many years and these sorrowing cares and each become a child again. I would it were so, Susie. I need you more and more, and the world grows wider and dear ones fewer and fewer every day that you stay away. I miss you, my biggest heart. My own goes wandering round and calls for you. Forgive me, darling, for every word I say. My heart is full of you, none other than you in my thoughts. If you were here, and oh, that you were, we need not talk at all. Our eyes would whisper for us, and your hand fast in mine, we would not ask for language. I try to bring you nearer. I chase the weeks away and fancy you have come. And I'm on my way down the green lane to meet you, and my heart goes scampering so that I have much ado to bring it back again and learn it to be patient till that dear Susie comes. I shall grow more and more impatient until that dear day comes. For till now I have only mourned for you. Now I begin to hope for you. I have tried hard to think what you would love, of something I might send you. I at last saw my little violets. They begged me to let them go, so here they are. They are small, but they will speak to you of warm hearts at home and of something faithful which never slumbers nor sleeps. Keep them 'neath your pillow. They will make you dream of blue skies, home, and the blessed country. Now farewell. And I add a kiss, shyly, lest there be somebody there. Don't let them see. Will you, Susie? Emily.
Street Singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to arise. Yeah, yeah. The dead of night you see. Singing in the dead of night, take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free, to be free. Blackbird fly. broken wings and learn to fly, your life. You were only waiting for this moment, this moment. Blackbird sing, moments here, blackbird sing.
In 1977, Armistead Maupin wrote a letter to his parents that he had been composing for half of his life. Though it was addressed directly to his mother, he instead published it to the San Francisco Chronicle through his loosely fictionalized daily serial titled Tales of the City. The following is an excerpt from that very letter, written under the guise of Michael Tolliver, one of the series' main gay characters. Dear Mama, I'm sorry it's taken me so long to write. Every time I try to write to you and Papa, I realize I'm not saying the things that are in my heart. That would be okay if I loved you any less than I do, but you are still my parents, and I am still your child. I have friends who think I'm foolish to write this letter. I hope they're wrong. I hope especially that you'll see this as an act of love on my part. I wouldn't have written, I guess, if you hadn't told me about your involvement in the Save Our Children campaign. That, more than anything, made it clear that my responsibility was to tell you the truth, that your own child is homosexual. I'm sorry, Mama. Not for what I am, but for how you must feel at this moment. I know what that feeling is, for I've felt it for most of my life. No, Mama, I wasn't recruited. No seasoned homosexual ever served as my mentor. But I wish someone older than me had taken me aside and said, "You're all right, kid. You're not crazy or sick or evil. You can succeed and be happy and love and can be loved without hating yourself for it." But no one ever said that to me, Mama. I had to find that out on my own. I know what you must be thinking now. You're asking yourself, what did we do wrong? How did we let this happen? Which one of us made him that way? I can't answer that, Mama. In the long run, I guess I don't really care. All I know is this: if you and Papa are responsible for the way that I am, then I thank you with all of my heart, for it's the light and the joy of my life. There's not much else to say, except that I'm the same Michael you've always known. You just know me better now. I have never consciously done anything to hurt you. I never will. Please don't feel you have to answer this right away. It's enough for me to know that I no longer have to lie to the people who taught me to value the truth. Marianne sends her love. Everything is fine at 28 Barbary Lane. Your loving son, Michael.
the sunlight, and say to the sky, behold and believe what you see. Behold how my lover loves alone in our secret, together we sigh for one smiling day to be free. To kiss in the sunlight and say to the sky, behold and believe what you see, what you see. Behold how my lover loves
Why, yes. We may have another one for you. Before I say my usual speech, just wanted to remind you that we will have a talk back after. You can meet Saunder Choi. Thank you so much for joining us for that. And also, you can ask any questions you'd like, but we'll take about 5 minutes between the end of the show and that, just so we can all filter out as needed. All right? We just want to say thank you so much to everyone here at Westminster for all of their help, always whenever we're here. Thanks also to our board of directors and our amazing staff, Shelley, Zach, Anne, and Liz. We couldn't do what we do at all without them. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Thank you so much. And of course, as always, thank you to all of you, our dedicated audience. Following our final song, Cantus will be out in the lobby. Please come up and say hello. Maybe while you're out there, check out the album table. We have our new album, Alone Together, which just came out this season. In closing, after this journey of love against all odds, we hope you'll enjoy one final song, which certainly wears its heart on its sleeve. For anyone who loved love songs back in 1993, this is our arrangement of Come to My Window by Melissa Etheridge.
Come to my window, crawl inside, wait.
breath, and I would stand inside my hell and hold the hand of death. You don't know how far I'd go to ease this precious ache, and you don't know how much I'd give or how much I can take just to reach you, just to reach you, oh, to reach you. Come to my window, crawl inside, wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window, I'll be home soon. Keeping my eyes open, I cannot afford to sleep. Giving away promises I know that I can't keep. Nothing fills the blackness that has seemed to turn my chest. I need you in my blood, I am forsaking all the rest. Just to reach you, just to reach you, oh, to reach you. Come to my window, crawl inside, wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window, I'll be home soon. I don't care what they think. I don't care what they say. What do they know about this love anyway? Come to my window. I'll be home, I'll be home, I'll be home. I'm coming home. Come to my window. Crawl inside, wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window. I'll be home soon. I'll be home, I'll be home. I'm coming home. Come to my window. Crawl inside, wait by the light of the moon. Come to my window. I'll be home soon. I'll be home.
Oh, you can't. Never mind.
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. We're just gonna introduce ourselves, and then we'll maybe have Saunder talk a little bit about the piece and the origins and your thought process about that, and then we can have a couple questions. We'll need to be out of here by about 5 minutes, so it'd be pretty short. But you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Rod Kelly Hines. I'm one of the baritones in Cantus. This is year 4 with the group, and I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan.
Awesome. I'm Paul. I'm one of the tenors in the group. This is year 10 for me, and I'm originally from Keene, New Hampshire.
Hi, I'm Saunder. I'm a Filipino composer who's based in Los Angeles.
Amazing. Can you talk a little bit about Light Years and the origin story and all that?
Yeah, so I met with Alex last summer. I was here in Minneapolis for the Gala Choruses Festival. We had coffee, and he told me about this program and asked if I could write a piece for it. And my first go-to every time I get a new project is to approach my friend Brian Sonia Wallace, who's the poet. He's one of my closest friends, and he's not only such a gifted writer, but I think like he has this magical ability to really capture people's stories because he's been doing it for so many years. We met when I was still in grad school at USC way back in 2013 or 2014, and he was already doing typewriter poetry at that time. His Instagram handle is actually called Rent Poet. It's still Rent Poet because at that time he was very, very focused on paying his rent by writing poetry. And so what he would do, at the time that I met him, he would park outside of LACMA, which is the Los Angeles County Museum of Modern Art, and he would be on his typewriter and he would talk to people and then write poems for them. He still does this. He does like wedding gigs and stuff like that. So I approached him about this, and he said, "Oh, I wrote a bunch of." So he does LA Pride, LA and West Hollywood Pride installation with his group Pride Poets every year, and in fact, in I think 2021 to 2024, he was the poet laureate of West Hollywood, and so a lot of his work already is centered around queer lives, queer art, queer activism, etc. And he wrote a bunch of poems for West Hollywood Pride. I think he wrote upwards of 48 poems for people. And so he showed me several of them. And the one that really stuck out at that time was the piece that I used, the text that I used for tonight, which is, at that time, it was only called From Razan to Lama. It wasn't called Light Years to Lebanon, but Light Years was already, that tagline, that hook, as you would, was already in the poetry. And there are a couple of reasons why that drew me. I think the imagery is so evocative, like really both that longing for a love that's separated by distance and longing for your homeland is something that me as an immigrant here, I feel all of the time as well. And the imagery of sumac and olive groves and bakeries and fasting, that was just like so lyrical and so vivid that it really attracted me to it. Another thing is that, when I attended Gala last year, it's a fabulous festival, but it became very, very clear that about 80% of queer art is centered around cisgendered males, gay males, like me. But cisgendered gay male narratives. And so when Brian said that this poem is about like two lesbian lovers, I thought that would be a nice way to use this platform to represent it. And then of course, I would also be lying if I were not to admit that this was also like the decision to use this text was not influenced by what's going on in Gaza and what's going on between Israel and Lebanon and Gaza and that part of the world. So that sort of the reason why I chose to engage with this text. We looked through the raw poem, and as with music, there's a little bit of reorganizing that needs to happen so that it kind of serves or goes hand in hand with a musical form that can be digested when you're hearing it. Because when you're reading poetry, it's a visual thing. You can take your time in absorbing the information of something visual. But if you're hearing it in time, then there's some sort of level of repetition that needs to happen in order for the material to really be absorbed. So that's sort of how we structured the piece.
We might want to open it up to some questions if you have any. Otherwise, I have a couple prepared. Okay, well, maybe we'll start with this. We had an event a couple nights ago at the Quatrefoil Library, which is one of the wonderful queer libraries in the Twin Cities. And we talked with you a little bit about your process of writing. And I'm wondering if you could just talk a little bit about that, how this piece might differ from some other pieces in your catalog, or you mentioned like verse and chorus and that sort of thing, like organizing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so more and more, and this is, okay, so I'll give a little bit of context. One of my jobs back in LA is I'm the composing teaching artist, one of the composing teaching artists for the Los Angeles Master Chorale. And we have this program called Voices Within, where we go into schools and work with fifth graders in a 10-week program. We teach them about, it's a teaching artist team of 3 people. There's usually a singer from the LA Master Chorale, there's a lyricist or a poet, and then there is a composer. And we teach the kids about like automatic writing and lead them through meditations and prompt them with questions so that they can write their own lyrics. We teach them about melody in the most basic sense, like what's an ascending melody, what's a descending melody, what kind of energies are associated and emotions that are associated with those melodies. What happens when you elongate this note, and what happens when the note is short, and how does that feel? And so in this, because it's a 5th grade level, we teach them a lot about song form, about verses and choruses, about how usually the storytelling happens in the verse and you have all your tangible elements in the verses, and how in the chorus there's this big intangible idea that you focus on. Like, for example, intangible meaning things that are still very real but cannot be touched, like, love, sadness, And so I think more and more as I, was engaging in this teaching artist residency, and then eventually Brian became part of it too, our writing styles evolved more to like a song form. So if you heard Light Years to Lebanon earlier, there was clearly a verse and a refrain or a chorus that was repeating. And I would say that I didn't write like that before. I think I'm gravitating more and more towards that. And that also means that the composition process usually starts with melodic construction rather than a texture or a theme, which I used to do. I used to start with a texture or a theme rather than focus on the text and write a melody first. So the process for this particular one was writing the melody and then kind of treating the melody like mannequins in front of your favorite clothing store and just dressing them depending on the season.
Cool. I love that image.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you have any?
Are there any other questions about the program in general? I have another question for you, Saunder.
Yeah. Sure.
So the poem itself does not include any Arabic text, but the piece is peppered with these phrases in Arabic. Can you talk
Yeah.
about your decision to include those?
So the initial draft of it actually included a verse in Arabic that Brian collaborated with a friend. But at the end, we decided not to use it because of, there's one aspect that this has to be arranged for an ensemble that is, there's basically a version for piano and TB with not a lot of DVC that something like high school students can sing. And so like a full verse in Arabic might be also too much for that. And the ending poem that Miriam wrote kind of like diverged from the original poetry, from the original narrative. And so at the end, I just decided to like pepper in some of the most evocative imageries like light years, or Ya Habibti is that particular phrase is my love, right? Because and it's particularly important that it's Habibti and not Habibi, because Habibti is feminine. And so when you say Habibti, this is the relationship between like two women in here. So, and then An-Nujum, As-Sama, this is like sky, the sky and the stars. So all of these very vivid imagery are peppered into, the Arabic is peppered into the piece, like as an echo.
I love it. You mentioned just now that you have multiple versions of this piece, and just so you all know, Cantus has a publishing series, and we are excited about making sure that some of the pieces that we commission can also be for somewhat more accessible ensembles, because turns out high schoolers probably would have great conversations about a piece like this. And so we want to make sure that is accessible to them, even if they might not be able to do a 4 to 6 part, 7-minute a cappella work. They could potentially do it with piano and limited DVC. So we commissioned for both of those. Yeah. We probably need to wrap up. Are there any last minute questions? There's no pressure here, but we're just leaving it open in case you're excited about something that you heard. Yeah.
Paul, would you speak a little bit about this beautiful performance, concert itself? How did it come together? What stimulated the idea initially, and how did you come around to having what we heard tonight?
I'm hoping Rod can answer that. This is actually kind of Rod's baby, but we can talk more about like how the programming process works. But if you want to talk to that.
So the idea came to me as I was doing some reading about Herman Melville. I love to read, and so I was down a rabbit hole of reading about Herman Melville, and I discovered that the author Nathaniel Hawthorne, who wrote The Scarlet Letter, had written a very passionate, outpouring declaration of love to Herman Melville. And I was very intrigued by this idea of an author who it's not really well documented when an author is gay or has queer longers or anything like that. And so I was interested in exploring whether there was a lineage of love letters or things that revealed a hidden side of people who wouldn't ordinarily be known for that. And the epistolary form is one of my favorite things. I love reading letters. I think it's a beautiful art form in and of itself. And so I just thought, what if we did a program that focused on love letters between historical figures who could not really openly express that in the time in which they lived. And so the source where most of the letters come from is a book called My Boy. It's by a British author who has compiled all of these letters by figures like Tchaikovsky and Oscar Wilde and Walt Whitman that you heard tonight. And it really presents this beautiful history of love. And there's no political agenda with the program. It really is about the human side of expressing oneself and how a person is able to do that when societal forces, societal obstacles prevent them from really being open. And so the letters were the first thing that kind of were chosen, and then the music was built around those texts.
Yeah, sure.
Future projects. So I have a new work called To Imagine Creation for Choral Arts DC. That is premiering in June of this year. Still at the Kennedy Center, crossing my fingers. But we wrote, you know, Brian wrote the text for that one too, and we were developing that, the text, we're finalizing the text for that one at the same time that all the Kennedy Center announcements came. And so I think in a way we were careful to still make our point, but to code the language a little bit. And like coded language is not, it's not new to like queer art. It's almost like part of the culture in a way, you know, to code the language. Next year I will be writing a piece for the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Pulse massacre. So far, those are the two that I can disclose.
Just one quick follow-up to what Rod was talking about. Our mission is to give voice to shared human experiences, and so we really get excited when we have a very in-depth, unique look into something like The Secret Letter. It's not something we've covered before, and yet the universality of love is something that we all have in common, whether that's platonic or romantic or whatever. And so we were excited about finding that universality, but also some specificity that's probably new to many of us, which was very exciting. So if you have additional questions, we'll be around, and then also feel free to follow him on social, you know, and also us, and make sure to always just stay in touch. Our website is cantussings.org. All right? Thank you so much for hanging around.
Thank you, everyone.